and I have 2 properties left in my database right now. If I can close those 2 properties by June, I'll be at 620, and we ain't even at the end of the year. So that's how much business is out there. There's a lot of buyers in Atlanta that's looking to purchase property. It's just not a lot of property out there. They don't have the money to renovate a property that they spend their down payment money on to buy. So that's where we come in as investors, is coming in and fixing those properties, making them really nice, and then get those buyers to come in and buy them. Right? So step one, and I give you guys a little booklet. You can take notes in it if y'all have pens. A pen? No, let me go get one. Oh, here's. Oh, you need one too?
Yeah.
Look and see if one's right here. You're welcome. So, feel free to is he in? You know, they're in.
Hold on. No, not yet.
Okay, I just hit it. But I did say told him somebody. Look at these chips up as I thought. Chewing. So in our module 1, we talk about laying the foundation of your business. And that's pretty, with any business, setting up your business name, getting your EIN, getting your tax ID number. Now, with that EIN and that business name, it'll allow you to apply for the Georgia sales tax and resale tax, so that you can be tax exempt, like at Home Depot, Lowe's, Floor & Decor, and all of that. So when you're buying material, you're not paying taxes on it. So you definitely, in order to do the resale number, you definitely have to have a registered LLC, and you have to have an EIN. Also, business insurance. You want to make sure that you have insurance just in case someone goes out and renovate and work on one of your properties and get injured or burn the property because they're not doing good wiring, or even if you have theft of material. So on any of my properties, I do note, every time I do a property, I list that property address on my insurance policy. So that if I have material on job sites and some of my handy-duty contract subs come out and steal it, I can make a claim on it. So you definitely want to make sure that you have a good insurance company to insure your business, so that when you're working on the properties, you're covered. I did list, I think in the booklet I probably put a couple of companies, but Hiscox, Hiscox, is a great company to use for business insurance, if you don't have that.
Do you use bacon insurance?
I use Hiscox, because they do contract and everything.
Yeah.
I just like to be able to use an insurance company that I can easily go online and just add my address, and I ain't got to call nobody. And then when I sell the property, I remove it.
Right.
So it actually protects the property as well. While you're trying to sell it, that insurance can cover it too.
A question. Could you talk a little bit, I just read this about an S corp, I've heard before, but when it says it's a tax classification, not a business structure, can you go a little
Yeah,
bit?
so LLCs, S corp is a sole corporation. That's just one individual. So when you have if you're not, what I will tell you, if you're not producing a lot of income, you don't want to incorporate yourself, because then you have to pay corporate taxes and you have to file quarterly. So as long as you're a small business, LLCs are the best way to go. But because you have an LLC, you automatically fall into an S corp because you're a small, a one-man operation.
Okay.
Also, you want to make sure when you are naming your business that you check the Georgia records to make sure that business name hasn't been used before, because you will pick up all the bad dirt if that company has had bad juju. It's gonna follow you, because all they know is they remember the name, and they will. And then it sees it active again, and if they've had any lawsuits, people may come try to sue you or, you know, because of the fact that, oh, no, that business is back in place. So you just want to make sure that your name is not something that's already been, maybe dissolved from the old, or just even Google it just to see what comes up, because you never know. Because I have Global Investor Finance, and I get payday loan people all day. Call me for pay. I'm like, no, I'm not a payday loan company. So, so the benefit of actually getting your general contractor license, as I said, it allows you to save money, so you don't have to pay an outside contractor to do it. Because sometimes contractors, I know for me, if Ray would have contacted me and said, hey, I got a house I need you to do, my fee flat is $5,500, and that's just using my license. That because I have to pull permits, I have to draw plans, I have to put the whole project together. But if you know how to do that yourself, you basically save money in your projects. Another thing is whenever you are doing a flip, if you're doing it in Georgia, in Atlanta anyway, if you apply for the building permit in your own name, you don't need a GC. You'll only need permits to be pulled by trades, which is your electrician, plumbing, or HVAC. You won't need that. So that'll save you too. So just FYI, if you kind of know that you want to do a project and you apply Fulton County, you can apply as the homeowner because you own the home and you don't have to get a GC on file. You just have to do all the requirements that you have to do for us, using plans and all that good stuff. But I will say this, when you are doing that, have you guys ever used Fiverr? No. Okay. So Fiverr, if you go in and type in blueprints on Fiverr, there are people that draw blueprints. So you just give them the dimensions of your room and they can actually draw out, and I'll show you, they can actually draw out your plans so that you can apply on your own. And they charge like $20. Well, if you go to an architect, he's going to charge you thousands. So I'm going to show you. Let me see. Let me find it. Yeah, and I mean, if you can use them for anything, but for your blueprints, if you're renovating, I would suggest that you use them to draw out your plans.
What's the
Fiverr,
name?
yeah. So here's a plan. This is one that I just did for a client of mine. And I always name my properties the person's name. So if I did for, King, it would be the King. So each floor plan, and I keep those floor plans because you can actually reuse them if you ever, yeah, I'm sorry.
I just sent you a link. Can you forward it to your online guy? I'm sorry.
Hold on, I'm sorry, guys. This one in the black?
Yeah, there's a link in there. It's at the top. Just forward that along.
That other one wasn't working?
I don't know, but I just refreshed it and then just sent the because I noticed it was not.
He said I'm not. It says live streaming isn't. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So what happened to it?
Excuse me, John, you said Fiverr is Fiverr?
F.
It's something like that.
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you.
FIVR.
FIVERR. ERR. Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, I use them to. Yeah, that's them right there. Yeah, so you can use them. They can do anything for you, but I use them to do my plans. So I draw out my my original, kind of like my layout, just tracing with measurements, I give them my measurements, and then they do this. So whenever you're sending your plans to the city for review, you have to, unfortunately, you have to have where you're gonna put the stove, the sink, the fans, the lights. You have to have the windows. You gotta also tell which windows, right here, that's gonna be replaced. If whatever you're replacing, you have to mark replaced. And again, you can share, Fiverr, they did this, and it cost me $20 to design this.
So if say I'm flipping a home and I'm taking walls out and I'm redoing stuff, I need to do this process before I remove anything?
Yeah, you can't touch anything until you get approval. So if it's under $5,000 of renovation, you do not need a permit for it. If it's over that, now again, you got to check the county because each county is different. Fulton County is $5,000. So this particular plan is, let me see if I have the original. Let's see, this is the final. Okay. So, and I know my guy's gonna kill me because he's like, you are not staying on the way this was supposed to go. But that's okay because I want to make sure y'all get the juicy stuff. The other stuff we can always get to. But hold on, let me show you the original. Do I have it? Do I have the original? Well, I'll just tell you because I don't have it. But because this was not in the thing, but I wanted to show it. So in this property, the original house was I'm gonna show you. I'll just show you what the original house looked like. So the original house was 983 square feet. So you see this, oh, I'll take it down. The top level was a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, kitchen, little living area. There was a big unfinished, I guess it's considered a split level because there's center blocks all the way around, but it was just a big open space that you can use as a basement. So to me, it was like, how do I get the most money for this particular property? The only way to get that was through adding square footage, because 3 bedrooms, 1 bath is very small. So here's the original house. So you see it? So, let me see my little head in the way. Up. So this part right here, so this is the main. So you walk up in here, and this is the house. This right here was just the basement, right? So see, this was the little kitchen. This is the living area, this little area.
So it kind of looked like that before you started.
This is what it looked like before I started.
It's like an old Southern house.
Then, so you go down the stairs. The stairs, see how narrow those stairs are? The stairs are very narrow. This is a bedroom, little hallway. These are the bedrooms. Yeah, so it's 3 bedrooms. This is the little bathroom. Hallway. And let me see, that's the basement. See all that? So, and that's the backyard. Okay. So, for me, what I did was I took the upstairs, where those 3 bedrooms, bathroom, and the kitchen and living room. So you see, I kept the 3 bedrooms, but what I did was, you remember that it was a closet and a bathroom. So what I did was I made a walk-in. So I actually put a closet here, and then you're gonna walk in, and then there's my master bathroom. And then I added a secondary bathroom. So I took the kitchen, split the kitchen with the half of the bath to make it larger. Still kept a little loft area there, but in the basement, I'd put the kitchen here. So now my front of the house was where the basement was. So right here with those stairs, I actually, I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep the stairs here, but I'm making this just a patio area that they can have a patio going out, like a Juliet balcony kind of thing here, but they will be able to come in, entry. This is a bathroom here. This is gonna be like a suite, a little study. I couldn't make it I couldn't make it a bedroom because there's not a window. But a person still could make it a bedroom if they wanted to, right? If they had guests, right? So, but you can have office space. This will be the laundry room, utility room. You have your kitchen that opens up to your living room. So now I've turned 900 square feet, 953 square feet to 1850 square feet. Go ahead.
Is this completed or is it just?
No, I'm in stage now, so it's framed out now. I'll try to share the photos, but it's framed out now. I did make a few little changes. So right here I had a door. So what I did is end up making a hallway. I end up making a hallway so you can come to the, so this now is gonna be wall. This right here would be a door. There's a hallway so that this separates from this. So that people that's here just can come down the hall, go to the bathroom. They can come out of this door, go to the bathroom. Come out and go. Yeah, that's the only change that I did there. So yeah, so this is one of the, this is what your plans look like when you submit your plans to the city.
So, so it was 900 square feet, just the top.
Just the top.
Okay, then at the bottom and everything, you can increase it.
Right. Now, the only way you can ever increase square footage to make it count as part of a project is it has to be permitted. There are people that finish their basements and don't get permits to do them because especially newer construction, because they already put the electrical in. So they don't, but it doesn't count as square footage if the city don't know about it. So in order to be counted, this is what we do. Now, my plans were approved, but they put a condition. Sometimes on your plans, they can do conditions if you're doing different things. So like if you have a property where you're gonna take off the roof and you wanna go up, you have to get a structural engineer to make sure that the foundation can hold a second level. Because you can't just turn around, put a second level on it might collapse on you. So this one in particular, because I was putting more here, adding more baths, they required that I get a structural engineer to come out to make sure that my beams that's in that house, and I don't know if you guys remember seeing them, but those beams in the basement, right here. So I have some beams here, all that's gone. But see these poles? Making sure those poles will support the extra. So sometimes you will have that in your projects, but definitely use Fiverr to do your plans because I'm telling you, it'll save you a bunch of money to do that. And therefore, if you're applying as the owner for a permit, you won't need a GC because all you need is your paperwork and this right here, a before and an after. All right.
Okay, I'm just saying that you just put Fiverr in the square footage and they designed the bedrooms and all that stuff.
Yeah. So what I did is I drew it out. I took some paper and I drew it out. I drew out the plans. It was black and white. Drew it out. We took measurements. And then I told them, like, I marked like an X. I put an X, like a window here, X's. I told them where everything was. And then I told them, this is what I'm going to replace. And you can, when you're changing out windows, you can select you can reframe and make them bigger, smaller, or what have you. So I did measure the windows, and I gave them the measurements of each window. There's no window right here. down here, he put replaced, but there really isn't even a window there. So I didn't want the city to know there wasn't a window, because if you try to cut in, that's additional permitting. So what I did was I put that it was a window there, I'm just gonna replace it. So, so if you notice in the back up here, right here, so this is a whole wall, cinder blocks. So I'm busting through that wall right there to make a patio outside. So I'm adding the French doors right there. But yeah, you can just mark X's, and then you'll tell them every bedroom has ceiling fan. Every bedroom gonna have a tub, a shower. You know, you just tell them, and then they'll draw it out. And if it's not right when you see it, they'll change it, they'll fix it.
So question, so Sam is already purchased this location, right?
No, so yes, Sam is the owner of the property.
So they called
And
you
he called me,
and said,
and he said, hey, I got this property. He's actually an investor. Came in and said, I got this property, I wanna renovate it. I wanna flip it. So we got together, we looked at the comps, we looked at the property, and I'm gonna go through how that whole process go a little bit later on. But yeah, so he came to me, he told me, we talked about the ideas, and then we just put them on paper.
gotcha, okay.
Yeah. So you just have to have an eye for things. You also need to look at other properties in the area, because you wanna kind of mimic what you see. You don't wanna over design something. So that's kind of what we did. We kind of looked to see what is common in this area. Yeah.
What neighborhood is that?
This is, it sits right at Hapeville, and it's Hapeville in Atlanta, but it's 30315. I can't think of the name.
Looking at that.
Yeah, what area is this? Hammond Park. So he bought this house at 140. We have a $100,000 renovation budget. That's what he gave me. And I can, if by adding that square footage and turning it into a 4.3, because that's what it would be, he's looking at about 475, 480 on the market. On that. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of new, lot of new construction going on in that area. But yeah, that's gonna be your where am I? I lost my stuff. So yeah, so that's one of the projects we worked on. But this is what plans look like and designs. They don't have to be on this big master blueprint paper. They don't have to be like that, because the city can't take it anyway. So it just has to be in a PDF form for the city, and you want a copy because you want to be able to give this to your contractors so they know how your stuff is designed. They're gonna measure your rooms based off what you're telling them in your plans. Okay.
Now, when you go and you renovate this property, I think one of my biggest concerns is, I don't know a contractor, I don't know someone.
And we're gonna talk about that too in the class. We're gonna get to that. I've done it, but yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna get to that.
You know one right here.
Right here. So, but now I'm gonna show you how to do all of that. Now, going on through, we're gonna go into the financing. I want you guys to look at financing your flips.
Who's your preferred lender, Gene?
I use cash. I don't use lenders, but I'll connect you with some. But I use Global Investor Finance, which is my company. So I do have the ability to finance your deals, but I want to talk about the different types of financing. I gotta find I hate that I keep doing this. It keeps knocking my thing out. Is your signal still up over there, down there?
Yep.
Okay. So there's, I know you guys watch HGTV, right? And you be watching these little reality shows, and they be talking about Jack came in with the, his budget was $300,000, he bought the house. Okay, so that stuff's not true. It's not true. So traditional loans, FHA, VA, conventional type loans, you cannot get money to renovate a property with those types of loans. Because those properties have to be, those properties have to be livable condition properties. So what that means is you can use a VA loan to buy a house. but you're not paying below value for that property most of the time because they've already did the work. Most of these investor deals are done with hard money. And it's either cash, private, or hard money. Hard money is where there is a non-traditional lender that will loan you money based on what this house will be worth after you fix it, not what it's worth right now. Your traditional loans, like your FHA, VA, conventional, they're going to loan you money based on what the house is worth right now, right? So the caveat to that is if you buy the house at $250, but the appraisal comes in at $300, the lender's not going to give you the $300 because the appraisal came in at that. They're only going to give you the $250. They're either going to give you the sales price or the appraised value, whichever's less, right, on your traditional type loans. So when you deal with hard money, Rohan, can I ask you for a favor? In my office, my board I needed to write, I wanted to show the examples. Can you bring that with the thing? So hard money is your non-traditional lender, and those really, a lot of times they don't really look at credit as much. They look at what the property, because that's where their money is in the property. Now, if it's your first time doing a flip and you use a hard money lender, prepare not to really make any money. Because the fees are so much, because you're a risk at that point because you've never done this, right? So what they do is they say, you're such a risk, it's a good property, but we want to make sure the work is really done, so we're going to either charge you a lot of fees and a very high interest rate, right? So it's going to eat up a lot of your profit. But after the first one, the fees go down. The more business you do with one lender, the cheaper that money gets, because now you're not a risk anymore. So what I offer to people that come through my investment courses is, for your first deal, we do cash deals. So what that means is that I find the money for you in order to finance that first project. So you have that one project under your belt. So then on your project number 2 or 3, you're able to use a loan and say, oh, well, no, I've already done this before. And I'll talk more about that later on, but I do help with your first deal if you need the mentor there. So the pros for using cash is, of course, you're paying for everything up front. You don't have all the fees and the high interest, and you get a bigger profit. The cons of that is, if you can stand it up, the cons of that is you're using all your money. You may be using all your money up. But I tell people that are going to use cash, if you have cash, to try to start with small properties like a 1-bedroom condo or something like that, because you can flip quickly. Meaning you can get it, take you about 2 weeks to renovate it, and you can put it right back on the market. But for deep dive investment properties like the one that I showed you, that is at least a 90-day process. So if you want to tie that money up 90 days to do the work, and then probably another 30 to 45 days to sell it, then you're tying up your money almost 6 months. But on the smaller properties like little condos, you can flip them pretty quickly. We have private lending. So there are private lending groups. I suggest you guys Google private money. These are people like rich people that have money that want to invest in something. They don't ask for nothing. You just put the deal together, you package it up, say this is what I have, and they loan money on it. They're not a bank. It's just a private individual. And there are a lot of those companies out there. They may charge you, they may say, well, yeah, I'll loan you the money. And really, a lot of times these only work on your second deal, not the first one, because they don't know if you know how to do what you're doing. But normally after you've done some, private money is good. I've done a lot with private money. But what they would do is they're going off of the projection that you have, and then they may ask for a split on the back end. So they may say, well, we'll loan you the money to do it. You got to have some skin in the game too, though. You can't go in and say, I ain't got no money, but I want this property. But they'll loan you some money, but then they may say, well, I'll do 10% on the back end. So after the return, after you pay me back, then you're going to pay me a 10% of what you sell it for. So those are options out there too. And then the other one is the hard money. So this is what you see a lot of people doing. Even your HGTV people. You see a lot of that. And let me show you how that's calculated. And I'm going to raise this. Julian, can you help me raise this up real quick? Let me see, how I raise it up?
I think you gotta loosen it.
That, yeah, and then you unhook this, raise it up, there you go.
You got it?
Yeah, I want David to be able to see it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, we're gonna say we have a house. Ooh, that's crooked. Lean with it, rock with it.
You got it?
Yeah. That better? All right, so we're gonna say, let's take this house that we were looking at. Let's look at that one. Let's just say we're gonna, that property was an opportunity for you guys to get a hard money. If I can find the doggone listing again. All right. So this property was on the market for $149,900. And what we did was we went in and we found the comps, right? So let's say we're going to use the after repair value of 400. Let's say 400,000, just to go on the loan. That's called ARV. So when you talk with a hard money lender, he's going to see, you're going to show him how the comps, you're going to either provide him with an agent or provide him with a CMA, or you can have an appraisal done, and it's going to tell them what this house is going to be worth after the renovation. So if it's worth $400,000, you never want to go over 65% of this value, right? And so you may ask, why 65%? You want to leave room for things that you don't see. You want to leave room for space that if you list it at 4, someone come in, you sell it a little less because the market changed a little bit. So you want to have some flexibility there. So you never want to go over 65%. So 65% is $260,000. So that means in this project, you do not want to invest more than $260,000. That means the cost of the house and the renovation. So with the hard money lender, this is all they're going to lend. This is their max. So now we found this property. So we said, okay, 65%, great. All right, so that means they got the property listed at $149,900. And based on when I went in, I'm going to say my renovation budget is $100,000. Now what happens is the lender is going to say, when you send this to the lender, the price is $149,000, the renovation budget is $100,000. They're going to increase this number. They're going to increase it by 20%. Because the reason that they do that is because they want to make sure that you have money left in case that, again, you go in a wall, got termites, something happens. You have enough. They have enough in the budget to cover that. So they're going to go 20% over. So that's what, 120, right? So what that means is the house is 149. The bank is saying, no, the renovation is going to be 120. So if I ask 120 to 129.9, the sales price, that puts me at 269.9. What's the max my lender going to loan me? 260. So what do I need to do? either negotiate here or try to figure out, maybe I may not add that extra patio on the side, something, right? But if you feel that, no, in that renovation, I got to have it in order to get this, you got to work with this, all right? So in my case, if you look on there, it says sales price 140. That's what we got the price down to. So that's how I do my calculations on all my projects, whether I'm using a lender or not, but always use this formula to determine what you need to do. Because if the seller won't come down here, I got to find some issue, something to remove here, right? So maybe I won't do a split, because in this particular house, I'm doing a split with the AC, so it's 2 units because it's the basement, and I want to make sure that's the main part of the house. So I may have to reconfigure. So HVAC guy, we got to come back and reconfigure something. But you're able to go back and negotiate up in here. So we ended up getting at 140, which kept us at that number. So that's your formula when you're finding properties, or when wholesalers are sending you properties, or you're working with an investor, client or something. This is how you want to start your factor off. Now, so now we've already determined, okay, perfect, we made it work. We got the property at 140, right? So now we got to determine how much money we're going to need, because we're using a lender. So when lenders lend you money, hard money lenders, is that they'll normally lend you 100% of the renovation costs. So they'll lend you this whole 120. But you got to have some skin in the property. So they may only loan you 70% of the sales price, 80% of the sales price, 65%. And that depends on your experience and how strong that deal is. So let's say this particular lender said, I'll lend you 70% of, which is standard, 70% of the sales price. That means they're going to lend you $98,000 for the loan. So you got to come up with the remaining of the difference. So 140. So out of pocket, you're going to need $42,000. All right? Just to purchase it. Now, this is not including all their fees, which is normally about 4%. 4% of this number. Right? It can be anywhere from 4 to 7% actually of that number. So let's use the higher of. So that's about $6,800 and $6,860 in fees to the lender. On top of that, you got your closing costs for the attorneys, which is going to probably be another $3,000. So already now we're out of pocket 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, $51,000. So you need $51,000 to get this. Okay, that's part one. Part two, the lender ain't finna give you, say, okay, here's a check for 120. They're not gonna do that. You have to break your projects up in phases. So for everything you do, they reimburse you. So that means you got to have the first set of money to get started on the renovation, because they got to see that you renovate it, and then they'll pay you back, and you get your money back on the back end. So it's called draws. So this money is sitting in an escrow account. So, and I'm going to go deep into how I do my breakdown when we start talking about when we do our project. But I always tell people, break your projects in 3 phases. But if it's a $100,000 project, you may want to do $25,000 each phase. That's 4 phases. If you ain't got the extra 25, you may have to go 10. So, but the more phases you have and more draws you have, this money is more expensive, because they have to send an inspector every time you do a draw. So you don't want to go over 4. So that means I'm going to say you need the first $25,000. So right there, you're talking about $76,000 just to touch this house that you have to have invested. So when you hear people say you can flip a house with no money, they're lying to you. Because you got to have something. You're not going to invest in somebody unless they invest in themselves. You're not going to just write a blank check and say, okay, go buy the house, because there's so many people that will start, don't know what they're doing, and then all this money is gone and this house is not finished. And now the bank is stuck with this project. So the bank said no more. You got to invest in it too. And then we'll fund your renovation, but you got to have some money in order for us to fund it. You got to show us you're serious. So that's where I come in with the cash, because the cash will help you to eliminate this situation. And we'll talk about that. So this is how hard money works, okay? So do not ever hear, when people tell you that, do not believe that, because it's not. If they're telling you no money you can flip, it means they're flipping with somebody else's money, and they're probably using private money to do it, because banks don't lend. You got to invest in it. All right? Y'all have any questions on that?
So for the 70,000, am I just racking up credit card bills or what?
Well, the down payment, your down payment and your closing costs got to actually be cash money, because it got to be paid to the attorney. Now the start of the that's why setting up your business properly and having your EINs and all that, and getting these accounts with Home Depot and Lowe's and Floor and Decor, Lumber Liquidators, 84 Lumber, because a lot of them do net 30. That means you can buy from me and you got 30 days to pay me. So therefore, by that time, your draw check is in, and you can pay that debt off. Yeah. So sometimes you can set those accounts up. But again, a lot of those companies are not going to set you up on the first go around. They want to see you do business with them. Right now, it took me, I've been flipping properties. I got here in 2015. I started in 2016 here. I just got my $100,000 Home Depot line of credit for net 30 last year. But because they wanted to see, they would give me small amounts, but to get it to their maximum, the 100,000, you definitely had to go buy a lot, do a lot with them. But what I like about it is I can get all my stuff, and then when I sell my house, I pay it off. Yeah. So you'll get to that point. It's gonna be over time. Flipping homes is not a one and done type of thing, because I'm telling you, when you start seeing those $80,000, $90,000 checks at settlement, that's profit, you're gonna forget all this other stuff. I want to flip houses. You had a question?
What's your take on bridge financing for the cash down?
You can do those, but now you got two mortgages.
I know.
You got the bridge loan, and then you got this loan. So always, if you're taking out a loan, you gotta move quickly, because the longer that loan is out there, the more money you're losing, because you got that payment. You got the payment on it, because there's not like a traditional mortgage where you buy a house in February and your first payment is not to April. As soon as you close on a hard money lender, your payment is due the next month. All right? All right. So move this back over here. So that's the difference with the financing.
So what advice if, say I, hypothetically speaking, I don't got no savings, I don't got no money, I don't have anything to my name other than a full-time job.
Wholesale.
From there.
Wholesaling. So wholesaling. So what happens with wholesaling? Wholesaling allows you to find properties like that and pitch them to other people, and you make money off the back end. So for example, let's say you made some phone calls, you saw some distressed homes, or you went on a tax roll, and you can see properties that's either pre-foreclosures, that means they hadn't foreclosed yet, but the bank's about to take it, maybe in the next 90 days or so. Or you can see things like some that basically has delinquent tax bills that hadn't been sold at the tax sale yet. Call those homeowners and see if they want to sell it. If they want to sell it, you tell them what you want for it. They're going to tell you, well, I want $100,000. Okay, you put that package together, you do these situations, find out what the value is, go look at it, see how much the renovation, put a package together, and send it to a whole investor network. But you're going to increase, if they want 100, you want 140. So that's how you made $40,000, and you didn't even do the work on the property. So that's how you're going to build your money in the beginning. When you don't have it, you build it that way.
What avenues am I doing to put those packages together?
I'm going to show you how I did mine. I'll show you how I'll put them together and pitch them. But you definitely have to do the work. You can't just sit. So I don't know. There's a bunch of groups on Facebook. If you go on Facebook groups, go into home flipping, wholesalers, renovation. Just find those groups. There's a ton of them out there, and you'll see people pitching properties all the time. But that's how you're gonna make some money. It's called wholesaling. But what you're doing is you're finding the property for someone, you're doing the legwork for them, and you're tacking your fee on the top. You can make $100,000 quickly if you do these, for sure. But you definitely have to do all the work, because you got to show the person the value. Because when you don't, and you don't say, well, I got this property, you want to buy it, now you like, okay, well, tell me more. You don't know nothing. So if you're able to go in and say, well, based on what I've done, it's going to need this, and this. The estimate is about this. The after repair value is this. 65% of that is this. And if you buy that, this, just basically what I just did. So to me, if I saw that, I'm like, oh, okay. Now I'm going to go look at my renovation myself, but you've already given me an idea, right? And those are easier sales. So that's how you can build your money with that.
To get the ARV, is it the same as just paying an inspector for $400 or whatever?
No, you can actually go online and put it. If you put an address on Zillow, it's going to tell you recent sales in the neighborhood.
Oh, so you just go.
You can, you can go on that. But see, me being an agent, I can get a little bit deeper, because I can see square footage, and I'm gonna show you what a CMA looks like. But I can get a little bit more deeper into that to be able to show a little bit closer to these expanded numbers. Because I get wholesalers call me all the time with deals, and they give me their ARV, and I put it in there. I'm like, nah, that is not it. But it leaves me room to negotiate this, because they were off here. But if I'm teaching you to do it the right way, you won't have people worried. You won't have too many people trying to lowball you on your pricing, right? All right. But that's definitely how you can build your money. And I'm telling you, there's definitely a lot of pre-tax sales in the county, where people, especially down in the in South Atlanta and those areas, where people was not paying the property taxes. And so it hasn't went for the sheriff's sale yet, but it's coming. And a lot of those people just either need the help, just either want to sell it, get some money out of it, because I don't want to lose my house for a $10,000 tax bill when I can get $100,000. You know what I'm saying? And don't let it just be Georgia either. So you can look anywhere. You can go to any cities and find and pitch them, because there's investors everywhere. So don't lock yourself just in Georgia, because this is public information. It's free, right? David didn't have any questions, did he?
I don't see any questions.
Okay. So this one here is a rental property. So when I put this is how I put properties together to kind of give people an idea of when I'm pitching it to an investor, or even this is what I expect. But when I pitch to an investor, if you want to do some wholesaling, do it this way. So you show them the property, just giving just a couple of pictures. All the stuff can be done in Canva if you want to make it pretty, but you don't have to. You can just be basic. So I'm telling them this is a perfect rental property, 70% LTV, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 1,300 square feet. So I'm telling them about the subdivision, easy renovation. This is where it's located. So I'm showing them that, and I think it's in your book, right? Is that in your little manual?
LTV?
Well, no, that particular property.
What is LTV?
Loan to value, what it's worth. What it's worth now.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Okay, so if you look at that deal, right? Let me get to it.
It's like right behind.
It's in module 4, finding the perfect deal. So the purchase price of this property here is, so if you look at it, the purchase price is $92,500. Now I estimated all you need to do is paint, do some flooring, and just kind of clean up the kitchen and the bathroom. You do not have to go in there again, because this was pitched as a what? Rental. So you don't want to go in and put all this fancy stuff in a rental, because they're just gonna probably tear it up. So with this is you just want to go in and paint. You're going to do some flooring. I always suggest laminate, because carpet is cheaper, but if you want to put carpet, you can. In here, all I may do is regrout right here in the floor, regrout the countertops, maybe paint the cabinets, put some fresh looking, maybe some chrome.
You like white or
Yeah, I would even go with a dark wood. You know, black is in. Y'all know black cabinets is in. It's hot. But I would even go darker there, or you can go white, but this is wood, so you may have to stand in for that white. But if you go darker, you wouldn't, but regrout that. Then I'll just put in some stainless steel appliances. Over here in the bathroom, I would resurface, not replace, resurface the tub and shower combo, make it look fresh, white, pretty. And maybe paint those cabinets, change out the mirror, maybe put a little glass mirror there. So my estimate of the repairs for this particular house right here is $12,500. So, and I gave the breakdown. Clean up the property, the kitchen countertop, my exterior paint, flooring, the fixtures, if you want to update some fixtures in there, punch out, and then clean up the yard and do some landscaping. Now, after doing this, my value is $150,000, right? The profit in that is $45,000 if I was to sell it. Or I can keep it as a rental. So those are my options. I can go in, was able to get in there and do that, make it a rental property because it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, probably get about $2,000 a month rental. So if you only paid $92 and put 12, you're all in what? 92, 12, that's 23, 105, and you're getting $2,200 a month. That's 12% return on the investment. That's a good rental. Anything under, anything under 7% is a great investment, and you can get 12% on that. So you can go and do basic, and do the and rent it out, or you can flip it. So let's talk about that to make a decision on what you want to do. You can do that if you pay. If you can do that and pull some cash out. So, we had the property. It was the $150 value. Let me put this back. That's the value. Purchase price was $92,500. Renovation, my budget was at $12,500. So I am all in $105, but it's worth $150. If I want to rent it out, you probably can get between $2,000 and maybe $2,100 per month, right?
How do you determine the rent price?
Just based on it's 3 bedrooms. So even Section 8 will pay you that. So you would, how I determine rentals is I actually look in the area. But as a landlord, you can determine rent whatever you want it to be. It's dependent on who's gonna pay it, right? So what you want to do is based on what you have, your product, and what maybe some of the other rentals are in the area. What's standard for a 3-bedroom, right? So especially in this market, $2,000 is actually low for a 3-bedroom. But if we look at, let's say we do $2,100. So it cost us $105 per month, $2,100. I mean, we're in at 105. Now, out of the $2,100, let's say you're getting $2,100 a month, and you got a mortgage. We're gonna go. So this is a mortgage. So for $92,500 on a mortgage, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, you're probably paying, well, $105, let's say on $105. You're probably paying about $980 a month. Based on, it just depends on what the rate is, but that's about right. Between $980 to $1,000 a month with everything, right? So that means you're probably only making about $1,000 profit on the rental, which is good, right? Could be good, right? So how long is it going to take you on your profit to recoup this? To make it actually a profitable deal. So if it's $105, you make $1,000 a month profit. It's going to take you 150 months. That's 15 years, almost 15 years. Divided by 12. 12 years to break even on a rental. Or you can sell it, make, $45K, And let's go say you got to pay agent fees and all of that. So this is really going to be about 37. So how long will it take you to make $37,000 on a rental? 37 months, 3 years to make what you could make in one deal. So there are people that love rentals. Be the glory. Go ahead, love them. But to me, this is more valuable to me now because this money may not be there in 3 years with the market, right? So it's a risk. We buy a lot into rentals now because we know our parents, grandparents had rental homes, and people, like my grandma was always getting rental, but the person that lived in her home probably lived there 15, 20 years. They done bought the home 2 or 3 times. And plus they were buying homes at what, $15,000, $10,000. So yeah, getting $700 a month was a lot for that. But in this market, it's really not. So that's kind of where the difference with knowing a good deal and how to identify what deal, if something you want to do and something that's more beneficial. So that's on that one. The other deal in there was a sale deal. And this, again, I just wanted to show you guys, this is how I package if you're going to wholesale, I would suggest you put your deals like this, where you're giving the person the after repair value, the purchase price, the repairs, and what their profit is, what comps you're using, so people can know where did you find that information. And again, if you don't have access to a real estate network, you can pull it off Zillow. Because if you put an address, Zillow's going to show you other sales at the bottom. And then you see on here, I broke this up into 2 phases of the renovation. Phase 1 and then a phase 2. And so when I pitch deals, this is how I pitch them for wholesale. So if I know I want to flip a house next month and I need some capital, I find these deals. And that's how I get my money.
So when you are sending this to an investor, what part of it is the fee?
The purchase price. So let's say if this price was $95,500 and I want $30,000, that price is $30,000 plus $95,500. Like, you're going to give them the total, not the price is this and my fee that. No, you're going to do the whole total. Yeah. But this particular one, I actually got this property, and we actually sold this one. I'm going to show you that. Ooh, Lord, I got excited about that. This property, I actually bought for $18,000. This property right here. The property on the scene. This 2660 Mars. I bought that. This was years ago. This was like about 3 years, before COVID. Before COVID. And actually, how I got this one was a pre-tax sale. The person had passed away. The kids wasn't taking care of it. And they were like, we ain't got no money. I said, well, the county's going to come put the tax lien, and you got a year to, here in Georgia, if you buy on a tax sale, they have a year to redeem their property. If they don't redeem the property, you own it. So for the first year, you can't do anything, right? But then after that year, then you can sell it, you can renovate it, you can do whatever you want to do.
So you buy it and sit on it?
You can buy and sit, yeah, you can buy and sit on. But this particular one, the tax bill, I think, was like $2,200. It was very low. And so I told the guy, I was like, look, if you just sell the property to me, I'll pay the tax debt, and I'll give you $15,000. And that's what happened. That's how I got it at that price. So yeah, let me show you that one. That one actually ended up being really, really cute. Let me see if I still have it in here, if it still shows up.
Is there a website you use to find homes that are in the tax?
Yeah, go to the county. Whatever county you're going to, it's public records. And then if you want to meet investors too, people with money and work, you go down to the courthouse. A lot of them be down there. They do. They be sitting there looking for a deal. This is it. So when I sold it, when I pitched the deal and sold it, he didn't do anything he didn't do anything I told him to do, but he cut his budget. He did nothing, so he did nothing that I told him to do in this renovation. So if you look at my repair estimate and things that I said, he went really, really cheap on it, and that's why he really got cheap money out of it, because I told him, I said, you can get $225 if you do what I tell you. He didn't do what I told, so he lost money, but that's the kitchen now. That's what he did. He just made it basic. I told him add square footage, he didn't do it. But this is what he did to it. He put carpet. He was a very shabby. See, look at that. You can tell. So you're not going to get top money if you don't do the top work. But he sold it. You know, I sold it to him for $98. And yeah, he done got 2 sinks instead of putting 1 whole sink. Yeah, you can. Sometimes you can tell new investors because look at what he did. I don't know where he found the wood from. He left. But he sold the house, so don't get me wrong, because we came a long way, because I sold it to him at $98, and this is what mine looked like when I sold it to him. That's the plans. Look, I drew out the plans, told him what to do. That was the house before. And he just basically just didn't do nothing. That was the back. Yeah. So that's why he only got $195, because he didn't follow instructions. But he still made money. I don't know how much he spent on well, he actually listed it at $195. He only got $182 actually. But I told him he could get $225. So when I pitched this deal to him, I pitched it like this, with the blueprint, prints and everything. And he went. So he bought it from me at $98. I don't know what he spent in the renovation. I told him to spend $51. I said spend $51,000, and you can sell it at $225. He didn't spend. That wasn't $51,000. He didn't spend $51,000. So he probably spent $40. So if he got it at one time, he probably made about $60,000. Yeah. He didn't follow instructions. So that's what happens when people don't follow instructions. All right. So let's move over to module 5. Let's talk about building. Do anybody need a little break? Bathroom, water, anything? Y'all good? So go straight out the door to the right. So building your team. Okay, everybody, you can go get your little quick restroom break. David, we're doing a quick restroom break. Oh, he like, girl, whatever. You good back there, Rohan? Are you recording? Okay, good. I know I didn't follow instructions. Good. But I am on module 5. I forgot to tell you. Find my paper.
Did you start out in real estate, or were you doing something prior?
Actually, I started out in the mortgage industry. Yeah, I was doing mortgage loans, and I was an underwriter with Countrywide Home Loans. And then Countrywide, we went through the real estate crisis, and so they offered me early retirement. I took it, and then I took all my connects that I had made with Fannie Mae and HUD and started reaching out to them, and that's how I started renovating, because they would call and say, well, we have this property, we got to, they've foreclosed on it, and they're like, we got to, we got to sell it. So I was renovating their properties. And so when I would renovate their properties, people would stop by and say, I want to buy that house. How much is it? And I was giving it to other agents. And I was like, wait a minute. Let me go get my own license. So that's how it happened.
Plus, we do have a license that gives you access to the
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm choking. All right, so building your team. There are people involved. You have the owner, which is yourself. You need an architect, which is the person that draws up the plans, which has now become Fiverr. You need a structural engineer. You can find one that get you a good one on your team and always use them, because these structural engineers get booked up because they do a lot of commercial properties. And then a designer, which could be you. And then your construction team, which is your plumber, your painting, your electrician, HVAC framer, if you want granite, flooring, landscaper. Now, could one person do all these jobs? They can, but I wouldn't let them. So, two things I do not play with is my plumber and my electrician. Because if the electric ain't right, burn your house down. Plumbing ain't right, you flood your house, right? So those two people are the two people that I really interview the most. I require that the plumber, the electrician, HVAC, they have to be licensed, skilled workers. And then everyone else pretty much could be just your regular trades.
How about the engineer?
The engineer is a structural engineer. You could find them. I just found one online that I use, Greg, all the time, but you may not use them all the time. You only need structural engineers if you're adding square footage or something like that, or if you're going to knock out a wall and you don't know if that beam, if it'll hold it or whatever, you may want to have one do that. But sometimes, if you bring on a supervisor to run your projects, I have a supervisor that runs my projects. He can tell if, hey, Gina, no, because he has a construction background, so he's able to tell things that we need to do and can't, can't do. I bring in the engineer, like I said, if I'm going to go up on a property, or if I'm adding more weight if there's a basement and I'm adding more weight somewhere. So yeah, you don't use them as much. But these are, yeah. But these people right here, you're gonna probably use the most of. You find them at your local Home Depot now. So let me tell you, and so I'm going to say, this year, since January, this was my most busiest time. I had 5 properties I was working on all at one time. And I have a main team that's with me all the time. He does all my jobs. He wanted all 5, but I knew no. So I interview people. So I brought contractors in, I interviewed them, I wanted to see some of their work, I called their references, that kind of thing. And you can build a team like that. The only thing about it, it's hard to build a team if you're doing houses every now and then, because they have to keep working. And so you may have a job and then they're like, well, I'm already on the job, so that's the hard part of it. But also you can get in touch with other investors because they have workers. A lot of times, like if I'm not doing anything, I have some of my friends that flip properties will call me and say, hey, are you working on anything? Because if I'm not, they want to use my guys because we can keep them busy. And I have no problem letting them work for them because I know that it keeps them busy, And that's my goal to them, is to make sure they're continuously working. So I do interview my guys to make sure. And it's important that you meet with these people and see if y'all can work together. Because I'm going to tell you, a contractor will be nice to you in the beginning. And as soon as he gets that first check, he becomes an asshole. So you got to be able to have several conversations, making sure that they show up to where you do your walkthroughs and things like that, not always putting you off. Like, all that is important, right? So you just want to make sure you have that. You want to let them know, hey, this is my expectation. This is my timeline. I draw timelines. I say, this has to be done in 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, or whatever, and I hold them accountable. And there's penalties if it's not, because now you just made the next person's stuff delayed. So it's a business. So with me, if you're my HVAC guy and you're charging me $10,000 to do HVAC, and you tell me you need 7 days, I got you for 7. If it goes over, that's a 20% penalty every day that sucker rolls, because now my electrician can't come in. And now he's on standby, and he didn't miss other opportunities. It becomes a domino effect, and so you got to hold them to the fire with that. So my God, when I sit there, I tell them, hey, this is it. If you're going to tell me if it's going to be an issue, that's why it's important that you go in there in the beginning and analyze everything in the beginning. Don't sit there and look and then give me a quote to do something because you want the job, and then once you're in, oh man, No, we knew that could be issues. So have that time already allotted. so that when I'm scheduling, because I'm thinking about the end result, which is my money, right? Because I'm tying up cash money. So I need to have that. Everything's in writing. I do contracts. Every contractor has a contract. So I think I put a contract in you guys' file. You're welcome to use it as you guys, well, I am a practicing attorney, so I am making sure that stuff is done. So I do contracts with my contractor. I also make sure I do at the end, I make sure they do a contract release. So when their work is finished, I make them sign a release, because what you don't want to happen is they get mad or something and then they try to file mechanics liens and stuff against you. So if with that lien release says that you're going to release all liability, you have been paid successfully and our job is done. I don't care if it's the same contractor that I use every single time, we still do it, because it goes for that particular job, that particular house. So in your book, it does talk about the contractor lien, mechanic liens, and lien notifications. Georgia's one of the easiest states to get a mechanics lien. So make sure that you definitely get a release, so it makes it harder for someone to come in and try to sue you and put a lien on your property. So the contractor's lien, mechanics lien is all kind of known the same as where a claim is made by the contractor or subcontractor who has performed work on a property and has not been paid. Now, has not been paid does not mean that you didn't pay him what he told you. He could say he deserved more money because he had to do something else. And he can say, and call you and say, hey, I had to pay this out, I had to increase the budget or whatever, and you're like, well, that ain't what you told me. Well, he can actually go file a mechanics lien because he said, well, I did the work there. So again, with these releases, it eliminates that. So you really have to be careful with that. And then in some states, all they have to do is notify you that they're filing a lien, and that's it, and they can file it. And and it could be a year later, and you say, what the hell? And you try to sell your house, and now you got this dang lien on it. So make sure you get that part covered, and make sure the contractor releases are signed. Contractors, with your contractors, you can allot to require that if you're bringing in one guy to do the framing, mostly all the work, you can request that they have insurance, so that if they do something, it's not going to claim against you. It's your option. All your HVAC, plumbing, and electricians, they do have insurance because they pull permits, so the insurance is tacked to the property through the permit. But for your independent workers, your framers and all that, you can either ask them, hey, do you have liability insurance? Because if one of your workers get hurt, something, I don't want that. So if you don't want the liability of other workers on the property, have them sign a hold harmless agreement. That means if they go down and slip and fall, I didn't put one in there, but you can Google hold harmless, and you can just have them sign that, so that you're not liable for someone getting injured. Hold, H-O-L-D, harmless. And with that harmless agreement, it just makes sure that they can't come back and say, well, I fell on her property and I need to get paid for it, workman's comp and all kind of stuff. So if you sign that with the contractor, then whatever the contractor has with his subs, and make sure it's written in there, the contractor and his subs, that means everybody he brought to that property you're held harmless for anything that happens to them. And that's if your contractor doesn't have insurance. If he said, yeah, I got insurance, you want it, you're fine. But if he doesn't, then make them do that, so that you're not responsible for them. All right? Now we're moving on to the good stuff. The stuff y'all been waiting on, which is the rehab process. So in here, in your book, I put a little checklist. It's just something that you can make copies of. When you go to properties, you can check off things that you see that's needed done, so you can get your pricing in order. So it's just a checklist for you. You can use it. I thought maybe it'd be good to share that. And then I have a budget, so you can use your checklist to create your budget. And it tells you, like, if you want to add square footage, all this kind of stuff, you can utilize this budget to do so. So the property that we're going to talk about is actually one. We're going to do, we're going to go and show you a property. Do I have the video to show in here? So we're gonna have an assignment. And this is so that you're actually finna get some hands-on. So normally in my workshops, we actually go take a tour, but because we don't have a lot of time, I normally do 2 days, but because we do the tour. But so we're gonna take a tour online on the property, and then we're gonna renovate this property. So the address of it is 9028 Huntwood is the property. And I think, look in your folder, in that red folder, I think the information about it is in there. It is, so there's a market analysis in there, which looks like this. And let me share, David, I'm going to share that with you. You also have the property listing right here, and here as well. So this is the property we're about to buy. We're buying right here. Okay. So let me share this with him really quick. Did I send you the CMA? It looks like this. Hold on, let me email to David real quick. Sure. So I'm going to show you the pictures of the property, and then we're going to determine what we're going to do. If we're going to buy it, what we're going to do with it. Let's see. I'm going to download it real quick. Here it is right here. So this particular property, if you look at the listing here, so we got approached about this property. It just says calling investors. It said it's a 4-bedroom, 1.5 ranch bath ranch, perfect for investors, rehab or flip or rent. And they are asking $123,000 for it. Looks like it's 1,344 square feet. Okay. So I went in and I did the CMA. So this is almost like an appraisal, but it tells us an idea of what properties have sold for. So if we look at when you flip it over the page that looks like this, page 2 of it, it gives actives, under contracts, and closed. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Let me send him. Hold on.
So Atlanta's permit is different than Fulton County permit?
It depends what a property is in Atlanta. So South Fulton is different than city limits. Yeah, so sometimes you have to, if you put the address into the city or the county, it'll tell you where you're supposed to, where you need to pull. All right, let me send him that. Give me 1 second. And then I'm gonna let you guys do the walkthrough of the video. But this is, while I'm pulling that up, so just looking at the comps, it shows you things that are on sale, on the market, which is 9028. That's the house that we're looking at. Then it shows you what are active under contracts mean that there's an offer on the property. And closed means the property has sold. Rohan is R-O-H? R-O-H L-U-G. All right, I just sent, David, I just sent you the CMA that we're looking at. So here's why it's loading the property. So active souls. So 9028 is our property. 8949 Gatewood. It actually sold for $250. It was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. 8852 Churchill Place sold for $253. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. And then 193 Creekwood Lane sold for $259. It was a 5-bedroom, 2-bath, 1941 square feet. So basically looking at the comps. Now this comp was done in January. So at that time when we looked at it, so we're looking at, if you look on average, sold about 254,000 would be my adjusted comparable number of what I would sell. So they're asking for this property 123. Based on the comps at that time, it was 254. So let me play it so you guys can see, and then I need you to tell me what you're gonna do to this property. What you would do. This is just a before or before and after? Okay, good. Okay, I did, yeah.
is just, I don't know, what, did the AC in the ceiling cause that, or was it a wire,
is that
or
roof
some type of
damage?
lighting? Or-
That's smoke.
But it ain't go through the roof, so you, I mean, you probably.
Well, we saw a hole. We saw a hole right here, didn't we?
In the roof?
We saw a hole. Remember when we got right here? See.
Oh, yeah, okay, we gonna, yeah. If it's a
But I
hole-
mean, it was just the sheetrock though. It wasn't. Look right here in this laundry room. See that?
Oh, I forgot about that.
But you can see.
Well, probably that area right there. I'll probably reframe that area out. Clean everything out, reframe that area out. Then let's treat all that wood and all that burnt wood. Treat all that area there, and reframe out the area that was damaged.
Mhm.
And for the walls, I guess you treat the walls and everything like that. And I just start making some repairs. 'Cause
So you
some of the
repair
stuff-
areas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the stuff like can just be repaired, just like smoke damage.
Okay.
The major areas like where those ceilings are, maybe tear those areas out and
Okay. So sheetrock, new sheetrocking areas. Okay.
And so, like a lot of doors, they just got just smoke damage on them. They don't have to be replaced. They don't look bad.
So you're gonna do a lot of repairing.
A lot of repairs.
All right.
The flooring, of course.
Okay. So new floors. So
You know,
floors.
all the flooring.
Okay.
And that's probably a lot of inside repairs. Of course, the drywall repairs. The main thing is that making sure that whoever's damaged it with that fire, take care of all that, reframe that, repair the roof,
Mhm.
and and go from there.
All right. What about you? What would you do?
Assuming that the fire was caused by some type of electrical or HVAC issue, that'd be the first thing I would, that
What
would
caused the fire? Okay.
investigate first. So, and I assume that a roof just needs to be replaced. So that would probably be where the bulk of my income came in. The house itself does not look like it can't be cosmetically done. If the fire didn't expand to anything else, then really my main concern would be the roof and some drywall. The kitchen looks nice. Could use some, updated paint. Take the carpet out, put in some laminate floors, scrub down some stuff, and windows still look nice, intact. So honestly, the biggest budget cost to me is the ceiling itself, but everything else, like put in some new
Look at y'all sound like contractors. Okay.
the bathrooms look nice. I mean, they can just use a nice fresh coat of paint, sand those things down, put some white on there, and go home.
Okay, so that's the difference between different contracts. Because see, some contractors say, okay, how can I preserve? What can I save to cut budget? And then you got something, let's just rebuild it all, right? So if you look at the back in your folder, here's what I did. This is my budget. It looks like this. Did you have this? The first budget, the projection, so David can see it. It looks like this.
Wood, profit, sales price.
All right, so what I did is I said, okay, County Records has that 1344 square feet, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, sits on a 0.2 acre lot. So my proposed auditions is to increase the square footage of the property, which means that square footage of 1344 did not include that illegal bedroom that they added that used to be a basement. I mean, it used to be a garage. So I'm going to pull proper permits so that I can count that now as a true.
Not even building on it, you just included it.
I'm including it. I'm including it in the pricing in the square footage now because I went through and got the permit for it. And then I'm going to add a bathroom. Why? It's because my laundry room is right next to that doggone bedroom, and there was a lot of space in that laundry room that I could make a bathroom out of it. So my estimate repair budget is $82,100. So I broke it into 2 phases. Phase 1, which is my building plans, my site cleanup, my interior demo, and I'm including dumpsters. So again, for me, this is my house, but that I'm doing of one of my flips. But what I do is the 55. Remember I told y'all I charge $5,500. That's the price of that. That covers the cost for the permits, site cleanup, plans, dumpsters, that's my fee, right? I'm gonna build a new roof. I'm projecting that new roof gonna cost me $18,500. Taking the whole roof off the top. But because I took that roof off, I wonder, should I go up? If I go up, I can add more rooms, meaning increased value. But then what happens is I go back and look at what's in the neighborhood. It will be the biggest house in the neighborhood, so don't make sense, right? So I'm gonna frame a new roof. I'm gonna do some carpentry by adding the second bathroom. I wanna put a new front door on there. I need a brand new electrical because when there's a fire, you might as well take out all the electricity. So I'm gonna do new electric. I wanna do new plumbing because I remember I'm adding that bathroom, so I need new plumbing in there. And then I just need the other plumbing checked because I don't know if it's good or not. And then I wanna add a new HVAC because if you notice in the picture, somebody stole my unit on the outside. There was no unit there. So we gotta add a new HVAC. So if I'm gonna add a new outside unit, I may as well, and I gotta take off the ceiling, I might as well add new ductwork, so that's a complete system. Then I'm gonna insulate. Now my insulation is going to be in the attic, right? Because you're putting the roof back. And then I'm gonna also insulate in some of the areas. My electrical finals, that means my fixtures. So I'm gonna spend about $1,000 in fixtures. The kitchen, okay, I'm thinking appliances, so I don't put refrigerator, so you get a dishwasher, stove, microwave. I want to do a new sink, and I'm thinking about putting some granite countertops in there because it had the brown, right? Update the 2 bedrooms with bathrooms, so I'm going to do new vanities. I'm thinking I'm going to add some toilets, mirrors, and just in case I may need to do a little plumbing in there. And flooring, I don't know if I'm going to do laminate or carpet, but I can't spend more than $7,600. I'm not sure, there's a water heater in there, so I don't know if it's good, so I'm going to estimate that I need to replace it. Then my punch out, which is my clean, adding my door hardware and possibly some little blinds if I choose to do that, and then landscaping because I did notice the fence was damaged and then the yard may need cut, and then I look like since it was burned there was no flowers or anything there. So that's how I came into my budget. All right?
Any particular reason why not the fridge?
Because people buy their own fridge. I might throw one in as a bonus or no. Sometimes you get a good appraise. If you can get an appliance package with a good deal with one, you can add it. But some people don't like the refrigerator they have. They may want a bigger one or whatever, so just eliminate it. So if I spend $82,100 and based on my CMA, put it on the market for $255,000, my net profit is $62,900, right? My goal in this is to have this house finished, everything within 60 days, sold, under contract, and completed in 90, right? That's the plan. So y'all saw what I did in there? All right. So,
And when you buy these properties, even with all this information, I'm assuming this was, they just sold it to you, or this was where, there are properties where you can't see them ahead of time before buying.
no, you can go see it. Some of them you can go see, yeah. Hold on a second, let me make sure. This Gina. Hello.
And this about Tara, so that's, that's like.
I'm good, how are you?
Tara Boulevard.
Hold on guys, 1 second. Okay, let me give you my tax ID please while I go get the card.
I'm sorry?
Can I give you my tax ID while I go get the card?
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay. And you're giving me the card number now, right?
No, I'm giving you the tax ID number.
One second. What is it?
9514.
Okay, so now it's 126.27.
Okay. It's 4,000. Okay.
1,000. One moment. Okay, it's 4,000.
2300.
See you later. Can I have the security code off the card?
647
the expiration? Your zip code. Thank you so much. Great day.
Bye-bye. Okay, sorry about that. Contractors at Home Depot. I thought I had some pictures of when I took the roof off. Did I share any of those with you? No? Okay. So yeah, so what I did is end up taking the roof off and on this property, and then I preserved the kitchen, some of the kitchen. And I'm gonna let him have. So here is the actual what happened. So now I was able to, this is the final of what that looks like. So I end up getting the house at 110, because remember they wanted 123. I got it at 110. I paid about $3,000 in closing costs. Remember my renovation budget was $82,100. I was able to cut some of the budget because some things happen. So sometimes you have to play with, you have to move things when other things come into play. So looking at that, when I took off the roof, let me see. Can you go through here? There's some roof pictures. Just go through. You'll see that gray house with the roof. I don't know. It will probably be up in early March. Yeah. I think we started in March. But you should be able to go in there and talk about, you should see the roof off. That didn't keep going. All beginning of March. You might want to slow down because you'll start seeing renovate, and we can see if we can pull some of those real quick. So what I end up doing is some things start happening. So when I took the entire roof off, it was gone, right? The roof ended up costing me $19,760. Remember, I estimated about $18,500, right? Because Gina wasn't thinking. When I estimated for the framework on the roof, I forgot about the shingles.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I went up a little bit. I forgot to add the cost of the shingles. So, so what I did is I spent $19,760 altogether for framing. So actually I didn't spend the whole $18,500, I'm sorry. Because remember, $18,500 plus I had another $4,000 for that bathroom. The contractor, I was able to actually get him to charge me $19,760. And so instead of $22,000, I spent $19,000. Because the roof was $18,000 and then the carpentry to frame out. So what I did is I framed that bathroom, and then I had to add a closet in that room because there wasn't a closet in there, so it truly become a bedroom. So they, even though they was advertising it as 4 bedrooms, it had a window, but it had no closet. So we added a closet, and then I added a bathroom in there. So we had that. So then I was going to get a new front door, and I said, well, ain't nothing wrong with this door. I just need to paint it. So I was able to save $800 on the door. Now my electricals and HVAC systems, that went up on me. It went up on me because of the amount, we ended up putting a bigger unit in there to cool the house because I added more square footage, right? So my electrical was supposed to be, $5,000, ended up being $7,000. My plumbing rough, I said, my plumbing was supposed to be $45,000. It ended up being $7,300. And that's because they had that copper piping in there. So I had to change all that piping out of there.
So when you made your initial price, did you just determine that from a contractor, or did you actually talk to an actual licensed?
I talked to an actual licensed person, but if you go to Home Depot, you could actually put in square footage of stuff, and it'll give you estimate pricing of what charge per square foot for stuff.
They have a calculator in Home Depot that gives you a rough idea so you can negotiate with your contractors when they give you pricing. But I've done it so much, and normally, like my electrician, he charges me like $3 a square foot. Just everything is a square foot price. The plumbing, I was thinking, okay, new plumbing material that's needed, that's about standard. Yeah, and so you can put, if you put into Google and say, how much is plumbing to add a bathroom that's 200 square feet, it'll give you an idea of where your pricing needs to be. But I've done it so much so I can walk in and tell you off the top. But I know what's max I'm gonna pay, so I'll use that. But it ended up costing more because I priced it as just doing that one bathroom, but I had to change out the plumbing in the other bathroom and in the kitchen, so that's why it went up. So with that being said, you have to adjust things somewhere, right? So then the exterior painting. So exterior painting was actually supposed to be on phase 2 in my paint budget, but I actually had the exterior painted earlier because the weather was good, and sometimes when you get into certain weather, it's hard to paint outside, so we went on and moved it up. But it still was in the budget. So my budget was $44,800, but I ended up spending $50,160 in there. I had to add hardy plank because when he tore off the roof, since that house had hardy plank on the side, I had to add it in the area where he tore down the roof. So that was an additional $1,300 of siding that I didn't have in the budget. So what that means is, Gina, you're going to have to eliminate something else because, again, that was a foreseen. I wasn't thinking on that. You know, when you take the roof off, oh, you're going to put that plank back. So that ended up being $1,300. So then on phase 2, I added my insulation in the attic. So I was supposed to be $3,000, but it ended up being $2,500. My sheetrock, I didn't replace so much sheetrock. I only replaced the sheetrock in the ceiling because we took the roof off. And then I was able to mud and tape and fix and repair those other areas where the sheetrock was damaged. So I brought that down to $45,000. My interior paint, so interior and exterior, I had $7,000, but I ended up spending $83,000 actually. I ended up trim doors and baseboard. Now I replaced all the doors in the house. Why is I wanted those doors they were all different doors. So some doors were just flat wood, like just flat, and then some doors had the panels. So I replaced all the doors to make them the same. So and then of course your baseboards, because I added that bathroom, I need new baseboard trim, and then in the laundry room making that really, really nice as well. So I added more trim in there. I only spent $825 on my fixtures. I didn't go fancy. I put ceiling fans in the master. So it ended up turning to 2 masters because you had the one that I added the bathroom could be a master, so I added a fan there. And then that room that connects to the jack and bathroom could be a master, so I added a fan there. In the other 2 rooms, I just put lights. The reason I don't put a lot of fans is some kids have allergies, and fans hold a lot of dust, so it can be an issue. So I'll let people put their own if they decide to do that. So my fixtures came down to $825. So in the kitchen, I said, screw them granite countertops. I'm going to save the countertops that's there because it went so good with the backsplash because it was brown, right? So all I did was get new appliances in the house, and then I painted the cabinets and added knobs on them. So it made them look really, really good. And then when I went to the bathroom update, I did change out the vanity. I did change out the toilets. I had the tub in there resurfaced to make it fresh and clean. And then my flooring, I did laminate flooring all the way through. I kept the tile. You guys remember seeing that tile in the bathroom and in the kitchen? I kept that. There's no sense of spending no money demoing and adding. I just regrouted it to make it fresh and clean. And then water heater. I didn't need a new water heater. So that saved $1,200 there. And then my punch out did stay the same. My landscaping went up because I had to fix the fence on the back as well. So that gave me a new total of $29,715. Hi. I'm fine. How are you? So my total spent out of $50,160, $29,750. I actually spent less than my budget. I spent $79,875. So all in, sales price, closing costs, Renovation, I'm all in 192,875. I did add in a water bill because I have to carry the water. I didn't have power at the time because we didn't use a temp pole or anything. That's all what I'm in, 192. I actually listed the house at 260,000. I'm actually under contract now at 269. It actually, because I had several offers. So, with my real estate committee, everything, I'm probably going to profit in my pocket after paying an agent fees and now my light bill and everything. So I'm probably going to gross about 62,000 on that house. That house took me 38 days to renovate. 38 days. My guys was in. Now that roof was up in two, because the reason is because we had bad weather. So it was very important to get that roof up quickly so that I didn't get rain in the house. Because while I'm waiting to close, that house didn't look like that. It looked actually a little bit worse because the rain had got in from some rain that had been doing over time through that hole, right? So I'm going to show you the finish. You got the finish? What? Yeah, I did. I dropped it in somewhere. I'll pull it up.
The person who did the
I think it's in Google. Huh?
the person who did the reframing of the roof, they also did the bathroom and closet.
So my framer did all the framing. Yes. My framer did the framer. I had a framer come in and do the framing. I had the person that did my HVAC. I had she also is certified to do electrical, so she did electrical and HVAC. My plumber, Mr. Washington, he does all my plumbing. And then my closeout. So after the big stuff was done, my closeout was done by my my maintenance. I call him my maintenance guy because he works on other projects that I have. Like he'll come in and he finishes out. So he comes in, he lays the floors, he put together the vanities and the toilets, and he does all that work. He came in and closed it out. So, and I do that so that the framer and my sheetrock guys can go to my next job, so that they're not stuck on one job the entire time. So by the time they're done, then Miguel goes over and he works on the closeout on that one.
Now, how do you know when you're looking at a property what needs to get done first?
Well, you got to go in order. So in order, normal things. So if you're doing any type of putting back in plumbing or electrical and HVAC systems, the first thing you got to make sure the house is framed out like it's supposed to be. Normally, the plumber goes in first. HVAC goes in second. Electricity goes in last. Because you need the electrician to go in last, because after the HVAC has to let you know what type of wires he needs to run that system.
Said frame, HVAC.
You have normal frame, plumber, HVAC, electricians last. Oh my God. All right. That Invest Like a Pro folder I shared with you, it's not in there? So I want to show you. I think it says either that or it says Huntwood or something like that. I think it says Huntwood. Yeah, Huntwood video. Well, I don't, hold on, I don't, wait, I think these are pictures. That must be the old video. That's the old video. Okay, all right, on my phone, 1996, you should see it. So, it was taken, I did it Tuesday, I think, Monday or Tuesday. All right, so here's the pictures of, that's what look at that. When I took, yeah. Here, bring it here. That's the roof. Okay, here it is. Here's photos. Where's the dang video? I think it's in here.
It's not that.
It is. It's those. It's that one. I think it's those. I think. Okay. So where's the other? Okay. That's. So that's him framing it. Look and see how I cleaned it out. So we demo cleaned everything out. Why am I choking? Jesus. Is it moving? Let me see what this is. This might be, I think this is the original video. Yeah, that's the old video. So that was with the roof. You got it? Or sending?
It's uploading to the drive right now.
Okay. And I'm gonna show you guys the finish. The only thing, picture I don't have is when it finished with the appliances, because I held putting the appliances in until I got a contract, because I didn't want nobody to go in there and take them out. So that's in there. But yeah, so this is in Riverdale. It was very simple with the permitting in Riverdale. Very easy and a good profit. So Ray, don't walk away from stuff, because it didn't really have to be that bad. I think it looked bad, but the roof was, if you took that roof off, everything else was salvageable. And then just framing that bathroom in there. It's gonna take a second to get this in there. Y'all have any questions on what we just looked at? It's gonna take a second. I'm gonna get the video.
Now you, when you're done with the property, you sell it yourself because you're licensed realtor, so you don't have to pay any of the realtor fees.
I just pay on the other side. So I'll pay the realtor that brings me a buyer. Yeah. Now, what I did was I did put my sign in the yard as I was constructing to draw interest. So people were already seeing and knew something was happening, and I was getting calls about it. Let us know when you're ready. That's why it went so fast, because I just put it on the market Friday. And that's why I went, oh shit, it's uploading to the wrong drive. That's okay. We have to change the drive on here, because I got so many drives. But I'm gonna be able to show it on my end, and then we can reshare it on the other drive. We have to select the folder. It's almost done. Yeah, it's loading in mine already. All right, so I'll start showing while they're loading. So this is one of the bedrooms that are in there. And we got a ceiling. That's the second bedroom. The windows was really good to the house. That is, okay, this is that bedroom that was originally the master that's connected to that bath. That's the bath. That's one side of it. Okay, you're gonna have to, that's the other. So I didn't put anything fancy, just, kept it in, because this is the living area. The ceiling, now what I did do is I pitched the ceiling. So the ceiling originally was flat. So I arched the ceiling to give more height in the living and dining area. That's the room that was the add-on room to the basement. And that's the bathroom I added right there. So it's a nice sized bathroom. And then I also added a closet. I didn't load the closet. The videos take a second. but I added a closet. And it's a nice size closet in there because there was a lot of unused space and cap off that was in there. So very simple, very quick, didn't take a lot. You don't have to go crazy. One of the things that I do in my properties, I break them up into based on what I sell them for. So if I'm going to do a basic flip, so anything that I'm going to sell under $300,000, it's all going to be the same. I'm always using the same paint color on every property. So when you finish painting, you do what? You take that paint to the next house. So it helps cut down on your costs, right? I use the same floating floors in the wood, the same color, because it's a little bit of gray, a little bit of brown, but it's very neutral. So those type of things I save the same. So when the house is 300, if I'm going to sell it anything under 300, it's going to have what I call my basic package. That means I'm not going super fancy. I'm going to put in my basic countertop. These may be white or they may be gray, depending on what's in stock, right? I always try to keep the dark color because everybody, you know, that's pretty standard now. But everything stays the same. Now, when I start going to a higher price, anything I sell over 300 all the way to 450, now I'm going to increase the product. So I'm going to do a backsplash. I'm going to do more fancier fixtures. I'm going to do, maybe I'm going to tile, because this is that whole shower piece, right? But I would maybe tile all of this instead. You know, I'm going to put fancier countertops. I'm going to use a better quality of paint. Same color, but a better quality. So don't ever spend your high dollars in painting on a very inexpensive home. So I'm going to do better product. I'm going to put more padding because these floors, you don't have to have the padding underneath it because they're floating floors. So I may go a little bit fancier, you know. So you can change up your packages based on price, or you can stay consistent all the way through. You can just add little things. So like maybe adding granite opposed to Formica, you know, is a difference, but you're using the same paint. So don't get so caught up in houses where you're over designing because you don't need to. Stay right in your moment. Try to keep everything the same. Always use the same colors because I'm telling you, save you money. You should not leave paint. You should not leave flooring. You should not leave material at a property. Now, if I open a box of flooring, I'm going to leave the remaining, you know, left over in the box, but I'm not leaving 4 boxes of flooring at that house when I can use it again, right? So definitely do that. Try to make sure that you that you're using the same material. I made a lot of investors all the time that are using that. They design a house like they're going to live there, and then they're over budget. Don't do it. So just always stay consistent with your plans if you're going to, because you'll learn a lot too on how much stuff costs because you're using the same stuff. So you won't ever have to guess. Also with Home Depot, they have the clearance areas, right? Go in those clearance areas and buy up all the little backsplash stuff that you like. Because another Home Depot, it may not be clearance, but they have to match the price you got it for on the clearance section. Because some stores do that. Some stores, it's not on sale, but one store may be because they like got so much of it, they're trying to get rid of it. So try those things out. If you start doing a lot of projects anyway, because I have a storage now. So I'll go in Home Depot sometimes and just buy up stuff because I can get a cheaper price if I buy 10 or more or in bulk. And buy it and just put it in storage because I use the same stuff at every property. The only thing I don't keep a lot of stock on is paint because paint can get messed up over time. But if I know I have several projects, I just move paint one project to the next. And if I know I'm about to cap out and I'm not going to do another project for another 3 to 4 months, then I might leave that last old bucket because it's going to get old anyway. Yeah. So I do not leave floors. I don't trim wood, none of that. I don't leave any of that. I think, what is that? Oh, this is the old picture. All right, guys, y'all have any questions? Oh, here's the little video. This is before we finish, but see, that's what I did to laundry room. I made it smaller. I don't know if y'all saw that. See, I what I did, I painted the cabinets brown, the dark brown. But yeah, that's that laundry room. That was where the ceiling fell in. That's that room. I made it smaller. What's the one I just saw? Let's see if this one will play. I don't know if it'll play. All right, so I appreciate you guys. And let me tell you what I do offer. So I do, oh, there it is. There's the house. Let's see if I don't know if I get all in there. The hallway. Look how clean that look.
Yeah.
The brown knobs on the door make a difference. It made it look rich.
And that laminate flooring.
Mm-hmm.
And you replaced all the toilets.
Replaced all the toilets. Mm-hmm. Yep. So what I do, if you do decide you want to do flipping or whatever, I do mentoring, like I said. I can create a plan for you. I do have the ability with my investors that do like to partner with people in doing projects. So if you do want to do something, if you find a project that you say, hey, I think this is a good deal, I would like to do it, I would like to work with you on it, bring it to me. I'll bring you in as a partner on it so that you're not having to spend any money up front, to give you the ability to make some money in the beginning. So just bring them. If you do want to got some money and you want to start a project and you need somebody to partner with you in it, meaning put up some money with you, let me know. I do have the ability to do that as well. Yeah. Cool beans. All right. Well, I hope y'all learned. So did y'all learn something? It's a lot more, but at least you got an understanding, right? Okay. Good. You ready to go? So like I said, start out wholesaling. If you're not scared to call people, start out there, because you can definitely make some money, with that starting out, to help put some money in your pocket to be able to flip some projects.
When you get back in town?
I will be back the 13th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let me know if you decide to bring your license back.
You love.
All right. Thank you. And you're welcome. Thank y'all so much. Ray been trying to get me. You got your class, Ray? Did you learn something?
Oh,
You ready to?
absolutely. And I can take all this.
Yep, all that's yours.
Thank you.
Got all the information you need in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
everything.
As far as like me finding some property, somebody.
Yeah, I got some places in there in that book that tell you where you can find them. If you want me to start, if you're ready, and we can sit down and talk and kind of come up with a plan and try to get you your first deal going, and I can help you find. So when you're ready, call me, and we can sit down and really put something together, and I'll put a plan together for you. Then we can find some money, and we can start a project.
Now that is after the LLC process and all.
Yeah, you don't, because you'll be using all my stuff, so we're fine on that. But just if you just want to really hey, you know what, let me get into it just to see. Yeah, but you definitely have to be involved, because it's not just me gonna do everything. You sit back and get a check. Now, you have to be involved in the project and see how we structure it. It's really more real hands-on.
Now you was talking about doing like little townhomes and condos. They're simpler to.
Yeah, they're easier. Yeah, so you can find because with those you're really only worried about what's inside, because you don't mess with the outside, because that's the HOA. So normally in the condos you're just updating. I did one in Hammond. Remember right there, 795 Hammond, the one that the old maintenance guy that we worked with, that he was working with me on a project, he screwed me over. Not Kevin, Vernon. So I did another flip in that building. I bought it at 170, spent about 15 and renovated, put it back on the market, 246. And it was just a 1-bedroom. And man, all I did was the bathroom and I just did the bathroom and the bathroom and the kitchen, because it was small. The whole place is only 600 square feet. I'll show you.
I can reach out to you via email.
You have my number? I think my card's in there too. With my yeah, give me a call and I'll definitely work with you. You're welcome back. All right, Dave. Thank you, David. Call me. All right, let's see. Where is it? Okay, so let me show you the before first, because you ain't going to catch it. All right, so... Why am I trying to pick pictures? Let me see. Okay, I think this video is short, but this is the before.
That was good right there.
Wait till I show you what I did. Very simple. That bathroom, old school, big old thing there. In the kitchen. My client, he didn't like it, like all that stuff. The foyer was, I'll show you. So this is what, so this is, so that's the kitchen, right? So I painted the cabinets, because remember they were brown. Remove the granite.